There we go. Hi there, I'm Mike, and this is Gentle Movement Stretch and Breathe. And today I am going to address specific exercises and stretches that will help to reduce or eliminate back pain, as well as to help prevent back pain. Um, Back pain is really complicated. There's a lot of different things that can cause pain in general. Back pain specifically sometimes is related to muscular imbalances, sometimes is related to neural tension, sometimes is related to emotion, sometimes is uh, a result of trauma, a physical trauma or emotional trauma. So it's a really, really complicated thing when you have back pain specifically. I've also seen with a lot of my clients that back pain can be related to internal and external rotation of the of the ooh, of the oh man, an internal and external rotation at the hip, basically. Like take I'll demonstrate it. But there are a lot of different things that can cause that. And one thing that I see too that people do is they're trying to become limber in their lumbar spine, and you don't ever want to stretch your lumbar. You really want that to be a tight place that is stable. And so we have a lot of real misconceptions and a lot of things that we do that don't really help our backs a lot. And so I just wanted to take a little bit of time to really talk about a bunch of different things that you can do if you're experiencing back pain that will help to alleviate it. And maybe it's a combination of a few of those things that will actually work for you. So that being said, we're going to start with a little bit of breathing today. Breath is really, really important where back pain is concerned, especially in dealing with the emotional, psychological, and neurological aspects of the pain. Making sure that you have control of your breath and can regulate your breathing and your nervous system in an effective way is a real good way to help to reduce pain in general. I've actually seen this personally in tattoo appointments when I would go in to get tattoo work done. From before I started meditating to the time that to after I was meditating, like when I had been meditating for a year, my tattoo pain was just dramatically less. And I was getting, ink done in really uncomfortable places. And it's just dramatically less with a meditation practice. And that's just because you're taking your nervous system down. You're turning down the volume All right, sorry about that. I don't know what happened there. I had a huge technical failure, but I'm back. Wow. Sorry about that. As I mentioned, big technical problem, nothing I could do. I had to just restart my browser, and I don't even know if this is actually recording right now or not. But yeah, please shoot me a message real quick and just let me know if you're actually seeing what I'm saying. That being said, I know I was talking about breathing and how important breathing is. We were getting ready to start a breath exercise. So we're going to talk about diaphragmatic breathing. And for diaphragmatic breathing, you really want to focus on breathing in through your nose and expanding your belly. You want to breathe into the bottom of your stomach. And I am just going to scoot back a little bit so you can see me a little better. I'm sitting on a yoga block right now for comfort. I'm going to cross my legs and hands on your knees, or if you want to feel, if you want to be a little more open, you can open your hands up, palm up like so. And or you can really put your hands on your belly. That's probably the best way to go right now, so that you can really feel those belly muscles. Really stick out your belly muscles. So I want you to expand your belly like this when you're breathing. And then instead of exhaling, instead of focusing on pushing the air out, I want you to compress these muscles. Okay? Hands here, breath in through the nose, expand your belly. And then compress. Really squeeze all that out. Breath in here. Expand in the belly, and then press it out. Oh, you know what? I've got a great exercise for you. I want you to grab 2 shoes. And any kind of shoe will do as long as it's flat. You don't want any sort of shoe with a heel. Maybe something that's pretty light. And so take your shoes, just like so. And I'll give you another 10 seconds to go run and get shoes. Hurry up. Go, go, go. Run, run, run. So you want to take your shoes and you want to get on the floor with your feet flat on the ground. Okay, just like so. Can you see me? I think you can see me pretty good. Feet flat on the ground. Okay. Legs bent. 1 shoe on your belly. 1 shoe on your chest. Okay. And I want you to breathe and focus on making the belly shoe move when you breathe in. Okay? So try to keep the shoe on your chest from moving. Just the shoe on your belly. Breath in through the nose, and then you're compressing the air out through your mouth. Breath in through the nose. Just the belly shoe moves. All right, and I want you to practice that for 10 breaths. So that was about 3, I think. Let's keep doing it. Just the shoe on the belly is going to move. It's harder than it looks. You actually have to concentrate to do this. So continue breath. 5 more. Breath in. Moving the shoe on your belly, but not moving the shoe that's on your chest. And I can see this chest shoe doing a little rise and fall. One more. All right. So that's a really good exercise to just practice on your own time. One shoe on your chest, one shoe on your belly. Try to make the shoe on your belly rise and fall without the shoe on your chest rising and falling. You can even take video of yourself doing that if you feel like that will be helpful. But that will teach you how to really use your diaphragm. And when you use your diaphragm to breathe, it affects your torso in a very different way. You use a lot more abdominal muscle, which is good for preventing back pain. The more abdominal muscle that you use it on the regular, probably you'll have a little less back pain. Core muscle, tight core. It also helps to create elasticity in your rib cage, so that your thoracic spine moves well. And you really want that elasticity in your rib cage. When your rib cage starts to get stiff and stuck, you can actually get frozen shoulder. Your shoulders won't move well anymore because of problems with your rib cage. And the reason for that is because your shoulders and your ribs, the way that the muscles thread together is just like this, is literally just like that. And so if the rib cage doesn't expand and contract well, the muscles that support and control the shoulder positioning just don't have a good way to get stability when they try to grab. It's not a good tight, tense way to go. So that being said, diaphragmatic breathing is super, super important. #1 key to helping to prevent and reduce back pain. After that, I really like to get hips and glutes involved in everything that I do. That's another real good way. So we're going to start out with a little bit of donkey kicks, and then we're going to do some thoracic mobilizers. Yeah. So donkey kick, instead of starting out here in quadruped position with your arms extended, what I really want you to get into is quadruped position like this, but you're going to get down on your forearms. And I want you to gaze directly beneath your fists or directly between your wrists, and keep your head in that position. And then you want to shift all of your weight to your left side. You want to take your right foot and really keep it flexed. Keep the leg bent, and think about just bringing the heel up to the back of your head and squeezing the glute. There's 1, there's 2, really, really squeeze. There's 3, there's 4, and 5. Bringing the heel to your head. There's 6, 7. I want 12 of these. 8. There's 4 more. 9. See how I'm really keeping my foot flexed? 10, 11. That activates the glute. There's 12. Once that glute is activated, your hips will work better. Everything will align better. You'll have less back pain from really using your glutes in a effective way habitually. All right. Looking back down between the fists again, shifting the weight to the right side, keeping the foot flexed and the leg bent on the left, bringing the heel up to the back of the head. There's 1 and 2, 3. Breath while you do this. 4. Breath in. 2 more. Okay, and sit back onto your haunches a little bit. Give your glutes a chance to recover. Kind of shift your weight back and forth. See how that feels. Really focusing on keeping the belly breathing happening the whole time today. Super, super important to really remember to do that belly breath. Next is going to be a thoracic mobilizer. This is a really, really great exercise, and you've probably seen this one if you've watched any of my other videos. I do this one a fair amount for a lot of different reasons. Thoracic mobility is super important. So quadruped position, just like so. You want to tense your fingers by the sides of your head, just like this. You want to take a little half breath in. And then exhale and bring this elbow through this hole that we've created and exhale all of the air like you're wringing out a dish rag, like really pulling hard and exhaling all the air out. So, ooh, I crunched right there. And then you sit back all the way as far as you can on your haunches and on your heels. You open and take a breath in. And look at the ceiling and really pull that elbow up and open. And I just crunched again. Breath out. Breath in, really pull it open hard. All right, and same thing on the other side. You want to get back into quadruped position, tent one hand by the side of your head, half breath in, exhale, pull it through, sit back, open up, pull the elbow to the ceiling and breath in. All right, that's a really, really good exercise. It feels really good. Gets your heart, like, I feel like my heart has more room to beat in my chest. It opens everything up in a really beautiful way. Next, we are going to work on hip thrusts. And for hip thrusts, you want to just get flat onto your back like so. And man, I gotta fiddle with my camera a little bit. I think that's good. For hip thrusts, you want to get flat onto your back, face up. You want your feet flat on the ground. You want to be able to just reach down and touch your heels like so. And then really, really focusing on pushing through the heel, okay? That should be your primary focus. And then squeeze the glutes here. Like really, really squeezing. You can even put your hands on your butt if you want to and feel that muscle as you squeeze it. Tense. 2, the whole purpose of this. 3 is to create tension. 4 in these muscles. 5, 6, the more you use these muscles. 7, 8, the better your knees will be, the better your back will be. 9, 10, the more powerful your body will be. 11 and 12, and obviously the less pain that you'll be in. The more tolerance to pain that you'll have, the less that you'll notice little aches and pains probably. And when you do experience pain, you'll have more tools to work it through your body, to work that energy out, to release it. One thing that's real interesting that I read is there's a book called Healing Back Pain, The Mind-Muscle Connection, and it's by John Sarno. And he actually says that back pain is the back pain that a lot of us experience, that lower back pain between your ribs and your hips, you know, like right in here, this, oh my gosh, he says that a lot of that is related to repressed rage, and that we can actually work on our trauma and work on our tension and our rage and our those things that you know, maybe are a little more difficult to look at, and those things will help to alleviate our pain that we experience in our back, especially when we get this kind of like twitching neurological like lower back thing. He says that a lot of that is repressed rage, and so we can reduce the pain by acknowledging it. And I feel like we can also help to reduce the pain by neurologically activating all of the muscles that we can that are in that area, and just letting them know that we're activating them on purpose, and we're not going to let them activate accidentally. You know, we're not going to let these spasms happen. We're going to take control of it, and we're going to gently move through our regular ranges of motion, and with control and with attention and with love for our bodies. And we're going to say, hey, you know, you can do this, everything's okay. Let's gently move into this next range of motion. And you'll find that the more that you're able to gently lead yourself into things that are a little bit uncomfortable, that the discomfort will abate. You know, as you warm up the area, as you warm up the nerves, and they start to fire, and the fascia responds and the muscles start to respond, you'll find the pain will abate. Pain also does cause muscle inhibition. It causes your neurological system to not want to pull to activate the muscle. And that's a defense mechanism that your body puts in place to prevent injury. But in some cases, you know, like for back pain especially, we tell people to rest. You know, rest and ice and all of these other things, and that's not really a good. That's not a good method to reduce your back pain. Rest will never reduce your back pain. You can lay in bed forever and you're going to get up and it's going to be just as bad. Gently working through specific motions are really ideal to reduce back pain. And there's a couple of a real good guy that you should follow. If you deal with a lot of back pain, you should follow Stuart McGill. Stuart McGill is a spinal surgeon from the University of Waterloo, and he's written quite a few books, or he's written a few books. I've got one of his books called Back Mechanic, and he just talks about different ways to move through pain and positions to avoid while you're dealing with pain. It's a really good manual, and he kind of sets it up in a way that allows you to help yourself by reading the book. You can troubleshoot your own stuff. So I would recommend that book highly. That being said, we did the hip thrusts with the breathing, and the next exercise, I really want you to, there's no way to demonstrate this one, and we have to be adults about it. Basically what I want you to do is to think about your perineum, and that your perineum is the area that's between your scrotum and your anus, or your vulva and your anus, or and that area is your perineum. And that I really want you to think about pulling up on that. Try to pull it up into your belly button. And the more that you can practice pulling up on that area, you'll find that you're activating your pelvic floor. And for my male clients, I sometimes tell them to try to take a breath in through their ass. And for ladies, I mean, you can Kegel. You can also try to pull up on your perineum as well. And what this does, and it's important for both men and for women. For men, it will improve the quality of your erections, and it will improve your ability to control your urine stream. It will help to reduce and eliminate your back pain. If you have a real weak pelvic floor, you're going to have back pain. Probably. I mean, that's usually one of the things that people complain about. And so the more that you focus on pulling up on this thing, and there's no way to demonstrate this, like you just have to feel it, and you can put your hand down there. If you don't feel anything moving, you can put your hand down there and just try to feel with your hand, feel the muscles that you're moving. And you're giving yourself a little bit of stimulation that way and helping to assist the neurological system to make the muscle move. But if you're not feeling it, like, you should practice that, because that's something that will go a long way in eliminating and reducing your back pain. It's a good idea for you to maintain that pelvic floor health. It's real important. There's all kinds of ways that you can do that on your own as well. Next exercise, I want you to go ahead and get into quadruped position one more time, okay? Just like this. And then I want you to take your left leg and put your heel down next to your wrist. So my heel and my ankle, or my ankle and my wrist are directly next to each other. You see this? Just like so. And then I'm going to push my toes into the ground on this back foot, and I'm going to lift my knee off, just like that. And this might be a hell of a stretch, all right? You might really struggle to get into this position, and that's okay if you do. Take your time. If you need to come out of it, go ahead and take a little break, you know, and then go back in. And really where it's a stretch is on this left side. So you see this, you might have a hard time getting down into here. And if you need to pull that leg out a little bit to accommodate your position, that's okay. But try to keep it really, really close together, okay? So foot here, hand right next to it, and then up. And then ideally, if you can get into this and this feels good, your next step is to try to sink down and put this forearm on the ground. And you're just working up, back up into this position, and then back down, sinking down into this. Okay, you can bring that foot forward a little more if you need to. Just like so, coming up and down into this hip. Really leaning in, okay? And then you could do a little down dog in between there. And then step to the other side. And do the same thing here, okay? Hand right next to the ankle. And then forearm down and up. Down and up. Let's do that 6 times. There's 3. There's 4. There's 5. There's 6. Okay, and then take a break. And that might be really intense for you, and if it is, that's okay. Relax as much as you can while you're trying to do it. Breathe through it. And if you can't get into that position, that's all right. We'll, keep working on it. Flexibility is just like strength. You have to work on it to increase it sometimes. Sometimes it's also related to strength. You've got to strengthen the things on the other side. So that's called lizard pose, and that's a real good intense hip opener. Let's go ahead and follow that up with a little bit of happy baby. I think that'll be real good. For happy baby, you want to get flat onto your back, just like so. And then you want to put your feet up in the air and your hands up in the air, and then grab your feet on the inside and pull. Try to pull your knees down into the floor, just like so. So you're opening up your hips. You're getting a stretch on your hamstrings. Really opening up the hips nice. You can extend your legs if you want. That's a stretch. And then back. All right, next. Oh, good, good. Next is a figure 4 stretch. This is real good if you have some sciatica or piriformis syndrome. This will help that in some cases. So figure 4 stretch, you just want to be flat on your back like so, both feet flat on the floor. You take one foot and cross over the knee, ankle to knee, cross your leg. And then you want to pick the other leg up, put your hand through this hole between your legs, and then interlace your fingers like so. And then you're just gonna relax into this position. And I'm actually really tight right now. I'm glad I'm doing this stretch. So when you're stretching, you want to relax. On the exhale is when your body is really turning down the volume on your nervous system a little bit, so you can relax a little bit better. So big breath in, expanding the belly, and then exhaling.
And I just pulled my leg towards myself a little tiny bit, and then I'm trying to melt myself into the floor. Another breath in. Every breath out, I relax a little bit more and pull the leg a little more towards me. And I'm going to take a little break. There might come a point of diminishing returns when you're stretching like that, where it just becomes too intense and you can't take it anymore. And maybe you're not able to really relax because it hurts so bad. And that is what I call the point of diminishing returns. Like, you're not getting much out of your stretch anymore. So go ahead and let it out a little bit and try to relax and kind of take a minute and maybe do the other side, you know? You can come back to it after you've done that, and it will be a little bit more warmed up. It'll be a little looser, and you'll be able to get a little further in. But part of the problem with Americans, Western society, is we've got this rush programming, this be productive programming, and so we don't spend enough time stretching and moving and breathing. It really affects our nervous systems in an intense way. And I've noticed this myself very recently, because I went on this vacation last week, and you know, when I came back, it was like right back into high gear, and I just really felt the lockup of the gears and the wheels. So yeah, taking time to stretch and move and breathe is really, really important. Let's go ahead and do the other leg. You're going to cross one leg over the other at the ankle and knee. You're going to pick the right leg up off the ground, reach through the hole you've created, interlace your fingers, gently pulling back. And just relaxing into this over the course of 5 or 6 breaths. I'll get closer and closer to getting this ankle towards my chest, maybe. Taking your time, thinking luxurious, melting thoughts. Regulating your nervous system. Everything is okay. All right, I'm going to take a little break there. That's pretty intense. I'm really tight in my hips today on both sides. That was actually part of my impetus for doing this class. Hey, here's a pro tip. Here's a pro tip. If you get this far in the video, if your hips and your back are really tight and tense and they hurt, put on a onesie and exercise. Do all of these exercises in your onesie. It'll make you sweat maybe a little bit, but at the same time, you're warming up your body faster. I have used this technique myself when I wake up and I have hip pain or back pain, that, you know, or I pull something out or whatever else. I use this technique. I put my onesie on and I do yoga in my onesie in my living room, and man, and I did this even before quarantine. Like, this is a thing that I've done for over a couple of years now, and man, it works so well. My onesie is really warm. So yeah, pro tip, onesie yoga. All right, we're gonna explore one more little exercise, and it's kind of like a crunch, but I really want to change the way that you look at crunches. I don't do sit-ups with clients. I don't do crunches with clients. Typically, we'll do maybe a little bit of bicycle crunching here and there for core work, but we don't do a lot of like crunch over and over and over.
And the reason for that is because, once again, Stuart McGill told us through his research with pig spines with multiple compressions that multiple compression crunches on your lower back over the course of time will cause spinal fracture. You know, like will cause micro fractures in your vertebra. And so that can lead to back pain. That can lead to all kinds of bad stuff. So no more crunches, no more sit-ups. What you can do instead is lay flat onto your back like so. And I want you to get your feet flat on the ground. Once again, they're close enough that you can just reach down and touch your ankles with your hands with no problem. Okay. And I want you to pick up your upper body off the ground just a little bit, and then really focus on pushing your lower back into the floor. That's your focus. So relax. Push lower back into the floor. And I see how that picks up my upper body a little bit, and then relax. So you see how when I'm sitting flat like this, my lower back's really not completely touching the floor right now. I've got that little spot there from my butt, you know, right where my lower back would come into the ground if I had my feet up like this. But with my feet down, my lower back is a little bit off the ground. So if I focus on pushing my lower back into the ground, that gives me just a little tiny crunch. And it's good. And it's good for your lower back. This doesn't hurt your lower back. So pushing it into the ground. Pushing in the lower back. Right. There's 3. Do 10 of these. Just push on the lower back into the ground. Tuck in your chin. And yeah, good stuff. Oh man, I feel pretty warmed up. I feel everything's pretty good. I'm moving good. I feel like I'm a little full of oxygen, a little oxygen high. Yeah, good stuff. I'm feeling pretty good. So the next thing that I would recommend is, if you're dealing with lower back pain or back pain at all, is probably just a little bit. Hopefully you're warm by now. If you're not warm, you can run through all of those exercises again. I would probably just do this whole thing twice if I were you. I'm actually going to stop the video in just a minute so that you can just play it a second time if you still need it. And maybe if there was any of those exercises that felt like they were specifically hitting the spot that you feel maybe if something felt a little bit more loose or a little bit less pain after you did the exercise, just repeat that one and see how it feels. Intuitive movement. You know, don't be afraid to move a little bit. Structurally, there might not be anything going on with your back. If you do have back pain, you should, you know, be gentle with yourself. Like, you don't want to go running or you know, doing squats or deadlifts or anything like that if you're dealing with back pain. If you haven't seen a doctor before for your back pain, you know, you might want to go have it looked at by a doctor or a physical therapist. A lot of doctors don't know a whole lot about musculoskeletal stuff, to be honest. They'll send you to a physical therapist. So, but yeah, gently move, you know, gentle movement, taking breaks when you need to, being careful, you know, being good to yourself, lovingly moving, curiously moving is where it's going to be at for you to help to work out that funky back stuff. After that, it's all about just making your glutes strong and making sure that you're, oh, hey, internal, external rotation. Remember I talked about that earlier. Here's internal and external rotation of the leg. Internal, external, internal, external. So not just the foot either, right? I want to do that with the whole leg. Internal, external, internal, external. If your internal, external rotation isn't very good, if you don't have much range, work on improving that, because this is one of the things that will reduce your back pain, is having better internal and external rotation. And that lizard pose that I gave you, this one can help with that internal and external rotation quite a lot. You can also just kind of experiment. You see how I turned my foot like this, and I'm kind of getting down into more of a pigeon style thing, and then back up. You know, you can kind of just play around with your movement a little bit. And I would really recommend just kind of doing that and seeing how it helps your back. You know, maybe it'll feel better in the morning. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them below in the comments, or you can shoot them to me in a direct message, and I'll be happy to answer your questions. I'm eventually going to just kind of like make all of those exercises into individual YouTube videos and upload them for clients. And I hope you guys are feeling great. I hope that that was a nice, gentle movement, stretch and breathe for you. I hope you're feeling full of energy and vitality, and everything is awesome. And you have a great day, and I will see you for my next class tomorrow, Monday night at 6 p.m. Movement Meditation Magic. That's Pacific Standard Time. And yeah, thanks very much.